we take a look at how media from around the world view China's efforts to provide free and wide-ranging access to reporters. China's security forces expressed their confidence and preparedness in ensuring a safe Summer Olympic Games in Beijing. And Beijing's efforts to improve air quality and the environment ahead of the Olympics draw praise from foreign guests and experts. Hello and welcome to NewsHour 60 Minutes of News live on CCTV International. I'm Lixin in Beijing. Chinese President Hu Jintao says China will continue to facilitate the work of foreign reporters after the Beijing Olympic Games. He made the comments during an interview with foreign journalists, who also said the Olympics will leave an important legacy. Pan Deng has more details.
President Hu Jintao said he hoped foreign journalists would abide by Chinese laws and report China as it is to enhance communication and understanding between China and the world. Hu Jintao also pledged that China will continue to facilitate foreign reporters' work after the Games.
China's door of opening up to the outside world is always wide open, no matter during the Olympic Games or after the Olympic Games. We will always welcome foreign reporters and journalists to come to this country to cover what's happening here.
Hu Jintao also said China will continue to adopt comprehensive political and economic reforms in the wake of the Beijing Olympics.
China is committed to peaceful development, with strategies that are beneficial to all parties. The development that we pursue is peaceful, open, and cooperative in nature. China's development will in no way affect or threaten the interests of others.
President Hu also called on people not to politicize the Games, saying it runs counter to the Olympic spirit.
It is only inevitable that people from different countries and regions may not see eye to eye with one another on some issues. And I think in this context, we should enter into consultations on an equal footing to narrow our differences. And we should expand our common ground on the basis of mutual respect.
Hu Jintao said the Chinese people want to join hands with people across the globe to build a harmonious world of lasting peace and common prosperity. Pan Deng, CCTV.
While athletes will compete for medals at the Olympics, reporters from around the world are also ready to compete for a scoop. And many are wondering just how much freedom they'll have in Beijing to do their job. In our special series 2008 and beyond, Wang Mangmang spoke to both veteran journalists and newcomers to the country.
Competition at the Olympics is not just for athletes. Some 30,000 journalists are expected to converge on the city. And one of the big stories is how China fulfills its promises on free reporting. Antoine Clamery has already covered the Olympic torch relay, but he says the true test is yet to come.
I hope that it will be possible to broadcast live, and that the press will be able to show everything, the best, I mean the joy of sporting events, but also if there are protests or demonstrations, I hope that it will be possible to film everything, like in every country.
Here at the International Broadcasting Center, 16,000 accredited broadcast personnel will be working in 90 studios, making it effectively the largest TV station in the world. ARD and ZDF hold the German rights through the European Broadcasting Union. Other equipment has been shipped from home. By opening day, they'll have a crew of 700. The head of production says it wasn't easy at first.
It was very complicated to bring our equipment in, very complicated custom regulations. So it was a lot of work before we are starting our original work, means reporting from the event. So at the moment we are rather confident everything works, and we know that the authorities are doing their very best.
His team leader, who has to bundle up in the air-conditioned studio, is more philosophical.
Yeah, we think we have freedom to do what we would like to do, and we don't think too much about what happens, and we think we find a solution when we don't get the freedom. If you go to Australia, it works that way. If you go to Germany, it works that way. If you go to Athens, it works that way. And now we are in China, and China has different meanings of several things. So we have to accept it.
While the IBC is the home base for these reporters, what most of them want to do is to get out into the city. Say Tiananmen Square, for example. During the games, rights holders will be able to transmit live from the iconic site during fixed morning and evening time slots, but will be restricted to stand-ups. And both rights holders and non-rights holders will be allowed to record interviews, reports and packages unrestricted.
For example, in advance they told us we need a permit for filming here on the square, but then 2 days ago they said we don't need a permission, so we can go here, and we could go here and we can walk around and ask people, so it's easy to do our work right now.
China was on the record promising unrestricted coverage. On January 1st, 2007, new regulations took effect for the Olympics and the preparatory period. Foreign reporters in the field no longer have to be accompanied by a government official or to apply to provincial foreign affairs offices for permission to report.
CNN Beijing Bureau Chief Jamie Flor-Cruz has over 20 years of reporting experience in China.
We're looking at a wide range of issues. We're interested also in what the ordinary Chinese and Beijing residents think about the Olympics, about hosting the Olympics, and in general what impact the Olympics is making in China and will leave behind in China.
His career parallels the changes in the country's media environment.
There have been very positive changes. In my case, it's probably a glass half full, but the issue is most of the journalists, the foreign journalists who will come to cover the Olympics, are not like me. Most have not been to China, and they do not necessarily have the long perspective that some of us have, and so to them it will still be a glass half empty.
Journalists, like everyone, have their own perspectives, and this will shape to a large extent their coverage of China.
With China's promises on greater media freedom, reporters from around the world are expecting this to be an opportunity to present a comprehensive understanding about the Olympic host city. And China is also curious about what image international media is going to present. Out of the many different voices we hear today, one thing is for sure. Media openness is both a gradual process and a standard in the making. Wang Mengmeng, CCTV, Beijing.
In tomorrow's special series 2008 and Beyond, our reporter Liu Ying takes a look at how Chinese enterprises are using the Beijing Olympics as an opportunity to promote brand image. South Korea's SBS TV has been warned by the Beijing Organizing Committee of the 29th Olympic Games not to violate professional ethics. That's after SBS TV broadcast some unauthorized footage of a rehearsal for the opening ceremony of the Beijing Games. The contents of the 3.5-hour opening ceremony, masterminded by award-winning film director Zhang Yimou, are a closely kept secret. Volkov has requested that SBS TV draw a lesson from the incident and strictly follow rules and regulations and refrain from violating professional ethics again. It's just 6 days until the Beijing Olympic Games begins, and the torch relay has just concluded in the city of Tianjin this morning. At 8 o'clock, Zhang Junfang, deputy mayor of Tianjin, handed the torch to the first torchbearer, Fan Yushu, a model worker. 225 torchbearers, including the head coach of Tianjin women's volleyball team, Wang Baoquan, relayed the flame along a 12-kilometer route. The torch passed many historical sites and landmarks, including well-known Nankai University and Zhou Enlai Deng Yingchao Memorial. Tianjin is an Olympic co-host city, and some football matches will be held here. Tianjin is an international harbour and economic centre in northern China. The torch will head to Sichuan province in southwest China on Sunday. Guang'an, Leshan and Chengdu will be the last 3 cities for the relay before the torch returns to Beijing for its final stretch. The Olympic Games is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for many athletes, as a medal is the best reward for their efforts. But for those who are not selected to represent their country at the Olympics, it's also important to stay positive. CCTV reporter Gui Xiaozheng traveled to Tianjin to meet a former Olympic champion who will be absent from the upcoming Beijing Games.
The time was 4 years ago in Athens, Greece. During the gold medal match between the Chinese and Russian women's volleyball teams, 22-year-old Zhang Ping is chosen by coach Chen Zhonghe to replace Zhao Ruirui, a star middle blocker forced to leave the match due to a leg injury. Beyond everyone's expectations, Zhang Ping's blitz attacks helped the team claim a tough but well-deserved victory over Russia to win gold. In the upcoming Beijing Olympic Games, however, Zhang Ping has no choice but to watch her teammates from the sidelines. Last year, Zhang suffered a terrible knee injury and was forced to undergo surgery. Zhang Ping's father is a volleyball coach, and he still feels deep pain and regret when speaking of his daughter's absence from this year's games. Her volleyball career may be over.
Zhang Ping has a strong body, and she learns everything really fast. I dedicated all my time and effort training her, and she's done so well for herself, especially in the Athens Games. 2008 is the great opportunity because we are holding the Olympics right at home. All the girls on the Chinese team are incredible. They have a great chance of winning again. I feel sad that my daughter's sports life ended too early. This should be the prime of her career.
Zhang Ping entered Tianjin Sports School at the age of 13. 3 years later, she became a member of the Tianjin volleyball team and was selected to represent China internationally in 2002. Standing at 187 centimeters, she isn't the tallest woman on the national team. But coach Chen Zhonghe says her attacks as the second spiker are the best in China. After hearing that she won't be able to play in the Beijing Games, local fans in Tianjin are also feeling disappointed.
Zhang Ping plays a great second spiker. Her attacks are so powerful and she has some good techniques. Her local fans really want to see her play in the Olympics. But now we can only wish that she will get well soon. We really miss her on the field.
But Zhang Ping is taking the situation in stride. She has always had an optimistic and cheerful spirit, a quality that made her very popular with teammates and fans. She has also been chosen as the torchbearer for the Olympic relay in Tianjin, something that makes her feel proud.
I think participation is most important. We don't have to be in a competition to make a contribution. The world is not only paying attention to the Olympics, but also other aspects of China, such as culture, food, and social life. I think I have the responsibility to promote China to the rest of the world.
Zhang Ping says she's grateful that many people have been caring for her and supporting her since her injury. What touched her the most was a book created by an 80-year-old volleyball fan, containing her biography, her past performances, and many newspaper photos showing her great moments on the court. The book is completely handwritten, including the flower illustrations. The front cover of the book reads, Zhang Ping, the most beautiful girl on the Chinese women's volleyball team. With heartfelt encouragement from everyone surrounding her, Zhang Ping learned to accept her injury and struggles with a positive attitude. During her rehabilitation, she again took up her childhood hobby of drawing. To everyone's surprise, the years on the volleyball court hadn't taken away any of her natural talent for painting. She says maybe she could become an artist after retiring from sports. But her mother has another alternative in mind. She showed off a professional studio photo album of her daughter, causing Zhang Ping to blush. With makeup and exotic costumes, we see a totally different Zhang Ping, elegant, graceful and classy. Given these refined qualities, who could say that she won't one day become a showbiz celebrity? But for Zhang Ping, it's still her hope to return to her beloved volleyball team. She performs recovery exercises 2 hours a day under the supervision of a trainer and an assistant. But her coach says although she's been recovering quite well, it's still too early to say whether Zhang Ping can resume intensive training with her team members on a regular basis.
She needs to go back to Germany for a health check by the doctors who did the operation on her. Only after that can we determine what to do next. Her leg muscles are rebuilding and everything looks very smooth at the moment. I'm sure she'll return to the court one day because she has the greatest physical quality I've ever seen.
At the stadium where the Tianjin women's volleyball team is practicing for upcoming domestic and international competitions, Athens Olympic champion Li Shan says everyone on the team wants their good friend Zhang Ping to come back.
Zhang Ping is a wonderful player and has a beautiful personality. It's a pity that she cannot play for the Olympics and is still unable to practice with us. She's only 26. I really hope that she can fully recover soon and play with us in future competitions. I know it will take time, but I wish her all the best.
There are many other athletes just like Zhang Ping. They might not be able to represent China themselves in the Olympic competitions, but with the same enthusiasm and support, they will definitely make their own contributions in showing the rest of the world a beautiful and hospitable China. 杜小曾、刘小农 CCTV 天津。
Turning to some other news, a senior military officer says the Chinese military can defend Beijing Olympics from terrorists. Zhang Siwei takes a closer look at the security work in Beijing ahead of the Summer Games.
Beijing is concentrating on its security in preparation for next week's Olympic Games. It has long identified terrorism as the biggest threat to the Games. At the National Defense Ministry press briefing on Friday, a senior military officer said he was confident China's security forces can deal with the threat.
I believe that China's security forces are confident and capable enough to make their contribution to a safe Olympic Games by providing powerful security for the Games.
Beijing has deployed nearly 110,000 Olympic security personnel. They include police, soldiers and volunteers. Dozens of planes, helicopters and naval ships are also standing by. Surface-to-air missiles, radar and anti-chemical are in place. Safety checks are already being conducted on the subway and buses. At the Wangfujing shopping street, foreign tourists said while the police presence could be felt, it was not a distraction.
For the security reasons, I have absolutely no questions that the Olympics will be an absolutely safe games this year. So many police guys, but they are not coming in the first line. You know, they are just restricted. You see them everywhere, but they don't affect you. I mean, they are everywhere around, but you feel safe. I mean, that's a really good part.
Officials say the scale of the security personnel for the Beijing Olympics conforms to the practices and requirements of the International Olympic Committee. Zheng Sui, CCTV.
And support for Beijing's Olympic security measures has also come from a military expert from the Netherlands Institute of International Relations. Dr. Marcel de Haas says that participation of the army complies with international practice and is necessary to ensure safety.
Well, nowadays, you might say, unfortunately, in these times where we have the international war against terrorism, this is necessary, of course. We've seen that with previous Olympic Games. For instance, they deploy aircraft with radars on it to see if there are any renegade aircraft approaching. And also on the ground you will have your special forces, your anti-terror units prepared for that. So, unfortunately nowadays that is necessary. So I can understand that in China that is the same as we do it here in the West.
Clear skies during the Olympic Games for all the athletes is the major concern for Beijing organizers. It's all part of their quest to improve the environment of the capital city. And with the Games just 6 days away, their efforts have been acknowledged by more and more foreign tourists, journalists and environmental experts. Li Ying has this story.
The transport system is usually the first thing to greet new visitors to a city. And Beijing's new public transport system, based on environmentally friendly concept, has impressed many media workers from overseas.
Beijing's public transport is pretty advanced, and the system's restrictions on pollutant emissions are strict and the standards are very high. These new buses look very modern to me. Traveling around the city is convenient.
Many foreign environmental protection experts are participating in the organizers' efforts to closely monitor and improve Beijing's air quality. And they understand very well all the measures that have been taken.
We should never forget that it takes a long time to improve a city's air quality, and the measures that have been taken by Beijing authorities are in the right direction. And given more time, Beijing would definitely become a city of clean air and clear skies.
The Beijing municipal government began the campaign to improve the city's air quality in earnest back in 1998. Since then, more than 140 billion yuan, or some $20 billion has been invested on the long-term project. As a major step, the city has been relocating the capital steel and iron group to a nearby city of Tangshan. It has also taken tight traffic control measures to reduce pollutant emissions. The Beijing Municipal Environmental Protection Bureau says that in the first half of 2008, the emission of major pollutants in Beijing dropped by 20%, and the city had 149 blue sky days, or days with fairly good air quality for the year as of July the 31st. But authorities have also admitted that the level of particulate matter did not meet the national standards. Nevertheless, they say they are confident they can ensure air quality above the standards set by the World Health Organization during the Olympics. Leah, CCTV.
Top-notch technology is enabling the Beijing Olympic Games to reach more people, and for the first time, China mobile phone users will be able to watch their favorite Olympic matches on their mobile phone's LCD screen. China Mobile says users of homegrown 3G mobile phones or TD-SCDMA phones will be able to watch live broadcasts of Olympic matches in Beijing and all co-host cities, and the service will be free of charge during the Games. China Mobile has donated 15,000 sets of TD-SCDMA phones to Bangkok. It will also donate another 100,000 sets to volunteers for test use before the formal commercial launch of the service. You're watching CCTV International. Coming up after the break, Japan's Prime Minister reshuffles his cabinet, hoping to rebuild confidence in his leadership.
できずに苦しんでいる中小企業の資金繰り支援を行うなど
And the UN's nuclear watchdog greenlights a plan to inspect India's atomic power plants.
For 17 days, the world's finest athletes will compete in Beijing. For 17 days, the Chinese capital will celebrate as never before. For 17 days, we'll bring you the action around the venues. Join us this August for 17 days on CCTV International.
2001, Beijing wins the bid, and things will never be the same. For the city and its people, a look at the changes ahead of the Games and for the years to come. Join us on CCTV International for 2008 and beyond.
Welcome back. Japanese Prime Minister Yasuo Fukuda has reshuffled his 17-member cabinet. The move is seen as part of his efforts to restore confidence in his leadership amid flagging public popularity. Robert Farr has the story.
Yasuo Fukuda, who became Prime Minister less than a year ago, appointed several Liberal Democratic Party heavyweights to important financial and economic posts. Former Economy, Trade and Industry Minister Toshihiro Nikai returns to that post, and former party leader Bunmei Ibuki becomes Finance Minister. Fukuda removed most of his ministers, but kept 4 important posts unchanged, including Chief Cabinet Secretary Nobutaka Machimura and Health, Labour and Welfare Minister Yoichi Masuzoe. Fukuda said he would accelerate reform in order to energize Japan's economy in an increasingly slowing global economy.
I believe it's the role of politics to respond properly to concerns such as those of agricultural and fishery industries, which are suffering from oil price hikes, as well as the concerns of the small and medium-sized businesses, which are struggling with reduced profits due to the general price hikes.
The Prime Minister said he would not consider dissolving the House of Representatives for an early election. Before the cabinet reshuffle, Fukuda changed the leadership of the ruling LDP. Former Foreign Minister Taro Aso was appointed Secretary General. Robert Farr, CCTV.
The UN nuclear watchdog has approved an inspection plan for India. The agreement is an important step towards completing a nuclear cooperation deal between New Delhi and the United States. David Rathbun has the story.
The nuclear inspection plan was approved by the International Atomic Energy Agency's Board of Governors on Friday. It will permit regular IAEA surveillance of India's declared civilian nuclear energy plants, 14 of 22 existing or planned reactors. This clears a hurdle to an accord that would allow sales of atomic materials and technology for civilian use to India. The deal has been criticized because New Delhi has not signed the Global Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, the NPT. IAEA Director Mohammed El-Baradei said the inspection scheme met non-proliferation safeguards standards.
The umbrella nature of this agreement provides a more efficient mechanism for ensuring that safeguards requirements can be met. It satisfies India's needs while maintaining all the agency's legal requirements.
Some countries were concerned the language might allow India to halt inspections unilaterally if nuclear fuel imports were cut off. India says it expects an unconditional exemption from the nuclear suppliers group. But some members will want at least a more binding commitment to no more nuclear tests and significant progress towards implementing an additional protocol. David Rathman, CCTV.
The Iranian ambassador to the International Atomic Energy Agency has accused the U.S. of double standards over the issue of nuclear energy. Ali Asghar Soltanieh says the U.S. has banned Iran's peaceful nuclear program, but on the other hand did nuclear trading with India, which did not sign the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. The Iranian ambassador says that policy has been undermining the credibility, integrity and universality of the treaty. He also says the U.S. has ulterior motives in the nuclear cooperation agreement with India. Israeli Deputy Prime Minister Shaul Mofaz says his country will not allow Iran to develop a nuclear weapons program. During his trip to Washington, Mofaz said Iran is heading toward a major breakthrough in its nuclear program and stressed the need for diplomacy and sanctions. He added that stronger actions will be taken by Israel if those measures fail. The West accuses Iran of seeking to develop nuclear weapons under cover of a civilian energy program. Iran has always denied this. Mofaz said another UN resolution with new sanctions will be needed this year if Iran does not meet the deadline for responding this weekend. To some other news, doctors in Germany have carried out the world's first complete double arm transplant on a 54-year-old man. After the groundbreaking surgery, doctors from the Munich Technical University Clinic told a news conference that the patient was in very good condition. The unidentified patient lost his arms 6 years ago in a work accident. He tried twice unsuccessfully to use artificial limbs before he approached a doctor at the clinic to see whether a transplant would be possible. The operation took 15 hours and involved a team of 40 medical staff. The man is reportedly in good condition, and doctors say he will remain in intensive care for the next fortnight. In the past, only 4 arms have been successfully transplanted. You're watching CCTV International. Coming up after the break, China's first anti-monopoly law set to create a level playing field for enterprises and reduce investment risks. And China plans to speed up the construction of nuclear power plants in an effort to reduce its reliance on polluting energy sources.
Find China's suppliers. ECVV.com. Sichuan, land of abundance, home of the panda.
Huangshan, a tourism paradise.
CCTV9, China's only English-language news channel, broadcasts throughout China and across the globe. CTV Golden Bridge is CCTV International's exclusive advertising agent and can put your company in touch with an audience of millions.
Thousand Island Lake, the ideal place to relax. Hangzhou.
Every time when I touch upon this land, I feel overwhelmed by her charm. Industrious people, loving faces, international market. Every day, she makes me feel fresh. Yiwu, the place I've been dreaming for. Yiwu, the place where my dreams come true. Yiwu, China.
Suzhou Taihu National Tourism Vacation Zone.
Come to Hangzhou. Discover the mystery of China.
皓月 Beef, 72-hour chilling, 21 sanitation control points, 6 steps of quarantine and inspection. 皓月, well-known trademark of China and China top brand.
Come to Hangzhou. Discover the mystery of China.
Thousand Island Lake. The ideal place to relax. Hangzhou.
Suzhou Taihu National Tourism Vacation Zone.
Visit the beautiful Longmen. Experience the grotto culture. Longmen Grotto, Luoyang.
Much more to see in Inner Mongolia.
Sichuan, land of abundance, home of the panda.
An intimate rendezvous with nature, Futushan, China. CCTV9, China's only English-language news channel, broadcasts throughout China and across the globe. CTV Golden Bridge is CCTV International's exclusive advertising agent and can put your company in touch with an audience of millions.
Welcome back to NewsHour, and here's a recap of the headlines. President Hu Jintao tells foreign journalists that China will continue its opening up to the world, even beyond the Olympic Games. We'll take a look at how media from around the world view China's efforts to provide free and wide-ranging access to reporters. China's security forces expressed their confidence and preparedness in ensuring a safe Summer Olympic Games in Beijing. And Beijing's efforts to improve air quality and the environment ahead of the Olympics draw praise from foreign guests and experts. And without much ado, let's hand over to Annie for the latest in business. Hi, Annie.
Hi, Liu Xing. Thank you very much. And we're going to start with China's first anti-monopoly law, which took effect on Friday. It's being regarded as a milestone in the development of the country's market economy. Experts say the new rules will make China's decision-making process more transparent and help reduce investment risks. Here's Qi Tianxing, who tells us more.
Brewing for 15 years, the new law is regarded as a constitution to regulate China's market economy. Experts believe the law will help create a level playing field for all enterprises by preventing dominating companies from abusing their superior market positions. In addition, better protection of consumers against monopolies could help boost domestic consumption to facilitate changes in the industry's growth pattern. Insiders say foreign investors should take the law as a positive sign for their investments, as the law sets out to build a fair, uniform competition law system to help reduce investment risks. 3 government bodies will enforce the law. They are the Ministry of Commerce, the National Development and Reform Commission, and the State Administration for Industry and Commerce. Further clarification concerning the law's application in certain areas is expected later. The anti-monopoly law was proposed 15 years ago and was not passed until last year. It's aimed at promoting fair competition across the country. Xu Tianxin, CCTV.
Well, in more legal news, the State Council has approved a draft amendment to the insurance law. It announced in a meeting this week that the draft aims to set up a market supervisory system and boost the industry's development. The revision has added some supplementary provisions to the industry's basic system. Officials from the meeting said the move will help regulate risk controls as well as beef up the supervision responsibilities and management capabilities of regulators. The draft will be submitted to the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress after more changes are made. Well, China has raised its goal for nuclear power capacity to 5% of its total by 2020. That's up from its previous target of 4%. The National Energy Bureau announced this week that the country will meet the goal by speeding up construction of nuclear power plants in the coastal areas while drawing up further plans for inland regions. China is turning to alternative energy sources to cut its reliance on polluting ones. Currently, the country has 11 nuclear reactors with a combined installed capacity of about 9 million kilowatts. That just accounts for 1.3% of the country's total. The lives of 12 million migrant workers in the southern boom town of Shenzhen are set for a major change starting Friday. A new resident permit system is being rolled out, and it's one that aims to provide quality for the city's workers and help ease the hassle of traveling or even just looking up personal records. Yang Fei explains some of the changes for us.
The new resident system, also known as the city's green card, weakens the notion of a migrant population compared with the previous system that was used for 13 years, and it makes more public services available for the non-permanent residents.
With the new resident permits, people who don't have permanent residency can access social welfare, medical care and other services. Holding a resident permit means getting legal residency.
The new permit holders will be entitled to a range of free public services, including being able to apply for driver's licenses and business visas to Hong Kong as they are. Children of permit holders will also be entitled to the same compulsory education as their peers who hold permanent permits, and families will be able to apply for the government's low-cost housing.
I've been living in the city for almost 5 years, and today I really feel like I'm from Shenzhen.
About 5 million of the migrant workers who have been living in Shenzhen for more than a year are expected to get their residency status processed by the end of 2008, and the remaining 7 million are expected to get their cards next year. Yang Fei, CCTV.
Well, 3 bullet trains made their maiden journeys on Friday. 2 of the railway lines link Hefei, the capital of East China's Anhui province, to Shanghai and Nanjing. Deng Wei tells us more about the bullet trains from Hefei.
The bullet trains deserve the bullet in their name. They travel at a top speed of 250 kilometers per hour along the Hefei-Nanjing Railway. The journey time from Hefei to Shanghai has been cut in half, from over 6 hours to just under 3 hours, and takes just 59 minutes to travel between Hefei and Nanjing, a trip that used to take almost an hour and a half. Experts say the inner city trains will link Anhui province more closely with the Yangtze River Delta.
It's much more convenient now. I can make a round-trip journey between Hefei and Shanghai in a day.
The bullet train will help boost Anhui's economy. I'm so proud of it.
One-way tickets for the Hefei-Nanjing bullet trains cost 80 yuan for first class and 67 yuan for second class. And the Hefei-Shanghai bullet trains cost 192 yuan for first class and 160 yuan for second class. Construction on the Hefei-Nanjing Railway started in 2005 as a key part of the National Express Railway network and it's the first line designed to cope with speeds of 250 kilometers an hour in eastern China. Deng Wei, CCTV.
Well, I'll be back at 2 p.m. Beijing time for a full edition of Biz China. But for now, here's Liu Xing.
Thank you very much, Annie, for that update. And coming up right after the break, in basketball, China thrashes Iran to finish third in the FIBA Diamond Ball tournament. And hundreds of tourists and astronomers flock to the Great Wall in Gansu province to see a rare full solar eclipse.
A journey to where nature is at her most magnificent and forbidding. To mysterious places where dazzling and diverse cultures flourish. Where China's numerous ethnic groups draw you into a world of color and vibrancy. Where distinct lifestyles, traditions, and crafts have survived the test of time. Join Travelog on its 17-part ethnic odyssey, visiting more than 100 places across China. Ethnic Odyssey, an enlightened look at China's rich ethnic heritage. Every Friday and Saturday, and every Tuesday and Wednesday, starting August 22nd on Travelog.
Welcome back, and for the latest in sports, here's Jennifer. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, Liu Xing. Thank you very much. We're going to tip things off with basketball this afternoon. China have left the FIBA Diamond Ball tournament on a high note by thrashing Iran 75-46 in the fight for third place. China got off to a very good start, storming out to a 13-4 lead. Yao Ming took another step in his recovery from a foot operation by scoring 12 points and grabbing 4 rebounds. Well, his compatriot Yi Jianlian answered his critics with a strong 8.9 rebound performance. China's advantage ballooned to 37-21 at the half and grew to 29 by the end of the game. China finishes third in the tournament. Meanwhile, in their fight for fifth place, Serbia dominated their match against Angola from the beginning. Angola failed to cut into Serbia's lead and eventually lost the game 99-62. Australia's female basketball coach Jan Sterling says her world champions are not the automatic favorites for Olympic gold here in Beijing. Speaking before the tip-off of the pre-Olympic FIBA Diamond Tournament over in Haining, China, Sterling says Australia's 2006 world title will mean nothing in the Chinese capital in a field that includes defending Olympic champions the United States and European champions Russia. And even hosts China might provide a surprise with their Australian head coach Tom Marr predicting a semi-final spot if it all goes according to plan for his team.
People forget the World Championship was 2 years ago. And I think the level of basketball globally for women has improved. And I think there are a number of teams that are capable of gold medal. And certainly, we hope to be in the mix and we'll work hard to do that.
Well, there's the big three. I think Australia and USA and Russia, they're the big three. And then I think the next two would be Czech Republic and Spain. I think most people would agree with that. And then I think we could argue that we were next, and then maybe Latvia, and then Brazil maybe. I think that might be the top 8. But that's only on, I think, an educated guess of a ranking. So if that's the rankings, I think we have a shot at we definitely have a shot at quarter-final. But I think we have a shot at a semi-final if we do well enough.
Always great to keep things modest. Well, Barcelona football star Lionel Messi is joining his national side. Messi touched down at Shanghai's Pudong Airport on Friday, ready to win gold with his Argentinian teammates at the Olympics. Alfio Basili's side is the defending champion in Beijing, and Messi's presence will offer considerable hope for the squad to maintain their crown. The Barcelona standout arrived in China after FIFA ordered his club to release him for the tournament. Argentina will play its preliminary matches in Shanghai. Messi and his teammates have been drawn in Group A alongside Australia, Cote d'Ivoire, and Serbia. Well, moving right along to Formula One news, McLaren's Lewis Hamilton has continued his recent run of dominant performances by leading the practice times for the Hungarian Grand Prix over in Budapest on Friday. Victorious in his last 2 races, the Formula One championship leader led the 20-car field with a fastest lap time of 1 minute 20.554 seconds after 2 90-minute sessions at the Hungaroring circuit. On Friday, Felipe Massa was sporting Ferrari's new shark fin engine, and it brought him a desirable result in the early session. He's at the quickest lap time of 1 minute 20.981 seconds around the circuit, which is a little over 4 kilometers long. While Massa's time edged out teammates and reigning F1 champion Kimi Räikkönen by nearly 0.3 of a second, as the Italian manufacturer held the 2 top places. Well, having confirmed on Thursday that Heikki Kovalainen will continue racing alongside Lewis Hamilton next season, McLaren watched their Finnish driver register the 3rd fastest time of the opening session. Kovalainen crossed the line in 1 minute 21.410 seconds. Hamilton, meanwhile, was 4th, more than half a second slower than Massa. Seeking his 3rd successive race victory, the Englishman posted a best time of 1 minute 21.535 seconds. Well, with more rubber on the track, times tumbled in the afternoon practice. Hamilton was at the head of the 20-car field. The title leader posted the best time of the day at 1 minute 20.554 seconds. Well, staying with speed, world champion Sebastian Loeb has extended his lead over Mikko Hirvonen to 14.4 seconds after day 1 of the Rally of Finland. Loeb pushed his Citroën into a healthy advantage after Friday's 11 special stages, with world championship leader Hirvonen struggling to keep up in his Ford. Hirvonen was dominant through the 12-kilometer Urea section, but by then Loeb had already opened an 8.4-second lead over his championship rival. Another Finnish driver, Jari-Matti Latvala, saw his participation cut short when he went off the road after suffering a damaged tire. Well, here seen flying, the Frenchman Loeb, current world champion, dominated much of the opening day in Finland to open a healthy lead. World Rally veteran Tony Gardmeister seemed determined to feature at his home race. However, the Suzuki driver was guilty of pushing too hard. He nearly flipped his rally car when he spun off in the afternoon. It wasn't enough to end his race. The Gardmeister lost precious time because of that. Well, at the end of the day, the man ahead of the pack was Loeb, who holds a precious 14.4 seconds advantage over rival Hirvonen. The 4-time defending world champion will lead the competitors out on Saturday. And that's all we have for sports right now, but there is a full update, 4 o'clock this afternoon. Liu-Xing, back to you.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. Finally, a rare full solar eclipse drew hundreds of tourists and astronomers to the west end of the Great Wall in Gansu province in northwest China on Friday night. Anna Zhang has the story.
The eclipse began in Canada, made its way across Greenland and eastern Russia, and ended up here in western China by Friday evening. Planeloads of foreign eclipse chasers converged at Jiayuguan in the hot deserts of Xinjiang to watch the rare phenomenon. Jiayuguan Great Wall Park extended its opening hours to accommodate tourists at the last outpost of the Great Wall.
Well, I'm seeing a big bite out of the sun is missing. Never seen that before. It's pretty amazing. And I think I can see the outline of the moon. Maybe I'm imagining it, though.
The eclipse itself, the phenomena, and the setting. It's, in the fort at the end of the Great Wall, and it's the whole combination, plus being in the country for the first time. It's quite nice.
The eclipse began at around 6:14 p.m. local time. Darkness fell upon the west end of the Great Wall an hour later. The crowd cheered and shouted as the sun gradually disappeared into the darkening sky.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The last time that eclipse was seen in Gansu province was back in the 1940s. It's rare to have a chance like this. We were here for the eclipse.
Chinese astronomers recorded solar eclipses that date back as far as 720 BC. By 300 AD, they understood what caused eclipses and could predict them very accurately. Chinese eclipse chasers will not have to wait long to see another solar eclipse in their country. In fact, hundreds of millions of people won't have to go further than their front doors on July 22, 2009. That's when the next solar eclipse runs along the Yangtze River from Chongqing to Shanghai, one of the most densely populated paths. Anna Zhang, CCTV.
And now a recap of headline news once again for you. President Hu Jintao tells foreign journalists that China will continue its opening up to the world even beyond the Olympics. We take a look at how media from around the world view China's efforts to provide free and wide-ranging access to reporters. China's security forces express their confidence and preparedness in ensuring a safe Summer Olympic Games in Beijing. Japan's Prime Minister reshuffles his cabinet, hoping to rebuild confidence in his leadership. The UN's nuclear watchdog greenlights a plan to inspect India's atomic power plant. In basketball, China thrashes Iran to finish third in the FIBA Diamond Ball tournament. And hundreds of tourists and astronomers flock to the Great Wall in Gansu province to see a rare full solar eclipse. And that's all our time for this edition of NewsHour. I'm Li Xing. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.